Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a daily tarot oracle reading, Tattle Tales from the Vector. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. This is a collective or general reading, so just be aware parts may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you, leave the rest. And also, this is a timely reading, meaning that it's the perfect time for you to be watching it at this time. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That might give you further clarity as to what's happening now. We're going to begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck. Yikes, we have the Knight of Swords coming through. So the Knight of Swords is in a hurry here. He's got some information. The Knights used to be working for the king and the queen in the court. And in the old days, the only way they had of long distance communication was to have a knight go and deliver the message by hand, wait for the answer, and then come back. So it could be really slow. And nowadays, it would mean that there's some sort of communication or information coming in. And it's actually, it could be, these days, it could be a phone call, a text message. It could be a letter in the mail. It could be an email. Maybe on social media, you have a message. Or there could be the energy of, just seeing an event on social media and going to it and meeting someone there. Could, also knowing what's going on in the news, just even for 5 minutes a day, is a good idea, because whatever is happening at the top of the pyramid is definitely also going on to a lesser level at the bottom. And so the Knight of Swords represents the energy of the intellect and also of, your discipline of your mind and your thoughts. So this energy, we express our thoughts in words, and so that can either be verbal or written. The Knight of Swords here is rushing in. He's in a real hurry here, so he has only half the information, it looks like, because the sword is like, you can only see half of it, and we can't see the point. He's in a real hurry. He's got a red flag on the back of his helmet, and he's running through barren land, and he's pushing this horse very hard against the wind through barren land. And so this energy is, like sometimes considered like a fool rushing in. It's almost like he's running away from something or running to something as fast as he can. So we'll see what it's about as we get through the reading. We have this energy here. Whoops, I got my deck upside down. I apologize. I have the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles is someone that the Pentacles represent health, wealth, and happiness in the tarot. And it represents our third dimensional world. The element is the element of earth. And the coins represent, of course, money. But having said that, you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle that you want. So this is about the lifestyle that you live while you're on planet Earth. And this is talking about someone here. He's got a lot of grapes all over his robe, and the grapes represent, in tarot, they represent something that's very challenging to grow. But, and it's a luxury, grapes are considered a luxury. And so this energy is talking about someone who is able to get the job done when it's something difficult to do, and bring that in, and also, get the pentacles out of it at the same time. This energy can represent people who are entrepreneurs. I guess it could be the energy of someone who is selling wine as well. Sorry, I have a little cat here, and she just jumped. She wants to come up on my lap, but she misjudged the jump and hit my camera, so it's just going to take a second here. Are you wanting to sit on my lap? Okay, you can sit on my lap. All right, her job is to purr, and she takes it very seriously. A cat's purr actually is a very healing energy, so you take your job serious. She's got happy feet, so she'll settle down here in a minute. This energy is talking about someone who, has, could possibly be in real estate development. It could be someone who is working for the banking industry, something to do with that. The energy is also maybe an entrepreneur. who's doing very well. It could be, you know, financial advisors, accountants. If it is, there's someone that's high up in the firm. So they would be like a partner in the firm, and the firm would be one that was very well established. So this even could represent the finance minister of a country or that kind of energy. We do have, why are these cards upside down? I got my cards a little mixed up here, but I don't read cards upside down. So if they come upside down, it's just, don't worry about it. I've got the King of Cups here. So the King of Cups is sitting on his throne, and he is offering a cup of love. Now, so this is two kings. We got one who's about the pentacle and one who's about the water. And so the cups represent love, and quite often that could be romantic love, but it doesn't have to be. It could be love of anyone or anything. You know, you could love your pets, your children, your your relatives, whatever, your coworkers. So this energy is talking about also, it could be something that you love to do or something you love to be. But the king is sitting in the middle of all this chaotic water. And this water like this is representing volatile emotions in tarot and perhaps chaos around. But he's sitting in the eye of the storm. He is the most emotionally available of all the kings because he's learned how to be able to control his emotions. And he doesn't... He's not going to make a move with that cup until he's ready, but he does have his right foot forward. So the moment that he feels the opportunity is right, he's going to get up and offer that cup. We have someone, this is representing being on your divine path. So the Chariot means basically that you're on your divine path and it's already happening on the spiritual realm. So it's about to come down into the 3D. And this is talking like, it's like a tank moving forward. There's no need for reins because it's kind of going, it's going on God's plan. So it's just going exactly in the direction, in the perfect time that it is. And as long as you're on that and you're on your path, you're going to end up where you need to be at the perfect time for whatever it is that is meant to happen here. And so we have, okay, so there's an energy here of the Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles represents someone who, you know, he's looking at these 6 pentacles over here and the one here, and he's like, what? I put all this time and invested my energy and my time and my money into this, and this was the return. Like, what's going on here? There's something not right here, especially if it's if this is the King of Pentacles. He's not used to this kind of energy. So he's like, this is, I was saying there must be a better way or something's off here and I got to figure out what it is. Whoops, we have the Tower. I must have shuffled my cards, one half of the deck upside down in the other. I don't take reversals because each card in the tarot has two or three different meanings. It's sometimes more. And so it just is in context with the cards. So they all have the potential of being positive or negative, every single card, not just some. And so the Tower represents a reality check. This is saying that there's whoever is falling out of this tower, whoever this tower has hit, the universe maybe was whispering, hey, you might want to look into that. And yeah, I will. I'm busy now. Then, a week later, bang, the frying pan comes on the head. And you still say, oh, no, I promise, I'll look after it next week. Then nothing happens. The 2x4 comes out. And when that doesn't work, well, then lightning has to hit your turret of your castle. And now it's on fire. And you're falling out of the castle. And there's 2 people falling out here. One of them looks totally shocked. The other one kind of looks like, oh, I was wondering when this was going to happen. But this is a reality check. It's meaning like... this is something you can't ignore. Even if you want to ignore it, you can't. You have to deal with it right now, like on the spot. It's not something you can't just leave your castle burn like this. You're going to have to call the fire department and, put the fire out and then start figuring out how you're going to rebuild or where you're going to live in the meantime, etc. And so this is talking, the Tower never ever hits at a good time. So it just doesn't. And so it's an inconvenience, and it's something maybe that you could have avoided had you paid attention to it earlier, but perhaps not. It just, I guess it can depend on the circumstances. So this is talking about justice coming in from this tower. So there needs to be some sort of justice here. And I mean, we have this information coming in, and this knight is, stressed out about it. So we don't quite know what that's about. And we have the king, we have two kings here that the information could be coming to. We'll see here. We don't have enough, I don't have enough information I don't have a strong grip on this as of yet. I feel that there is some sort of justice that's going to come in now from the tower hitting. But we don't really know who the tower is. And I guess maybe it could be both those kings, they could be living together. You never know. And so this is talking about the energy of, the spiritual realm and the thin veil that's between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. And when there's justice on the spiritual, it comes down to the physical. And she's got her sword of justice in her hand, and she's ready to wield it. You notice her right foot is also out here, just like the King of Cups. So maybe the justice is for the King of Cups, and they're both waiting now for this information maybe to come in. So we'll see. It's a mystery for now. And I should just point out that in tarot, the characters are all archetypes, so they're not gender specific. So the King of Pentacles, it could be a female in her masculine energy as well as a male in masculine. And any of the female figures could be a male in their feminine energy as well as a female in their feminine. And we have the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups is representing an energy of, these three people are celebrating. A lot of tarot readers read this as a card of celebration. I have yet to find it to be a card of celebration in the true sense of the word. These people are toasting each other, but they're looking at the cup. They're not looking at each other. So they're not toasting each other. They might not even know each other at all. This could just be, they're toasting something that's happened. A lot of times for me, this represents an energy of gossip and slander and kind of like an early congratulations, look what happened, we know we did it kind of energy. And I find that rarely is it that, it's like a strong energy, because the cups represent romantic love a lot of the time. And so if this is romantic love, why is there three people here instead of two? And then there's also the energy of, like, in a lot of cultures, and particularly in Europe, if you toast someone and you don't look them in the eye, they have a big suspicion that it's going to cause 7 years bad luck in their love life. So you're not doing anyone any favors by toasting this way. So we'll see. Maybe it is. Maybe this time it'll come through as a true celebration. We have judgment here. So the judgment is coming in from a high to bring the justice. It's saying judgment and justice is coming from the Most High. The trumpet is blowing, and this represents the ancestors and the descendants across this water, across this troubled water. They are coming out of the ancestors are literally coming out of their boxes here, and they are so happy this justice is coming in. So this could be something, some karma that it could be something that happened to them, and it was never resolved before they passed, and they're not resting easy. They're not resting in peace until this is straightened out, this energy, whatever's been going on. And quite often this can represent skeletons falling out of the closet, so secrets from families that you didn't know, and it comes up in in whatever form this is. We'll see what that's, and it can also represent opening Pandora's box. And once Pandora's box is opened, it's like a slow leak. We're seeing that with the files that came out. It's like, man, every day you go and you think, okay, I bet you this is over now, and it's not. It just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse, and it's like, wow. The corruption is unbelievable. So this is talking about the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is representing an energy of someone who is she's considered to be the most sexy of all the queens. In natural beauty, she has the sunflower representing that she's happy, and that's because she follows the sun. The sun represents the energy of God and her destined path. And this veil in the background is representing, it's very similar to this one if you notice, and this is representing her ability to use her intuition and her logic to be able to come to creative solutions. So she doesn't worry. She knows that, she'll find a solution for any problem. Her element is the wand, and this is the element of fire. And so this is made out of wood, and wood feeds the fire. It's talking about having passion for what you're doing. And it's from a tree, so the deep roots represent the ancestors, and the offshoots here represent the branches of the descendants coming out. And she has this little black cat on her, here. And this black cat, a lot of people wouldn't have a black cat because they consider them to be, there's a superstition that they are bad luck. But she doesn't worry about bad luck. She just uses her creative solutions for everything, and it keeps her happy. All right, and then we have the magician. So the magician is pointing at this tower. And so this is saying, this is this energy coming in. This is when the Fool begins his journey on the major arcana. He starts at the 0 point, and this is the next card. This is the magician. It doesn't necessarily mean that the Fool comes across this card next, but this is card number 1 in the major arcana. And so the magician is basically an energetic upgrade, because it's about your ability to bring, your thoughts and manifest them down to the earth. And he's pointing at this tower. So there's something about this tower where it's like, I feel like the magic begins kind of energy. And so as above, so below. And he has infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. He's growing a beautiful harvest of garden here. And he has all the tools to do so, to make the world a more beautiful place. We have the energy of the 8 of Wands. Now the 8 of Wands represents something that has already been launched, and it's sitting right here on the Chariot. So it's this energy of being on your divine path, but there's some sort of energy coming in. I feel it's the information about this, and it could be this information coming in from here, from some communication, some information coming in. So this represents the wands are landing tung, 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 in perfect order, so that you can solve this problem and move forward on your divine path. We have, because of that, there's going to be all these opportunities coming in. So the 7 of Cups represents the energy of each one of these are a gift. Each cup is a gift, and each cup has a different gift in it. And this is saying that there's all these opportunities coming in. Now, opportunities quite often are disguised as challenges. So this is something that you'll have to put your energy into. You're like a black hole, just like sucking up all this opportunity. And these were meant for you, for your divine path here. And, here's the King of Cups in control of this. It's almost like the King of Cups has something to do with this coming through. So perhaps the King of Cups is coming in with an offer of love. And with that offer of love is all these opportunities at the same time. And, so you're like a black hole sucking in this, all these opportunities. You are at the center of that black hole. You're the center of that universe. So you have to decide which ones you're going to take on, in what order. And it's not something you have to worry about that the opportunity, this will be missed. If, this is something about use your intuition to decide which ones, and then put, you'll be able to launch, different projects from this energy. And just the timing and that is up to you. So you put your own spin on it. And then we have the energy of the Hierophant. So there's a lot of energy in this reading already about justice. We have the Hierophant, the Magician, justice, and a tower here to make sure it happens, plus the Chariot coming in. So the Hierophant is talking about traditional structure in the physical world brought down from the spiritual. And this is about bringing justice in through traditional structures, basically. So if you're a religious person, this could represent for you like the Pope, the Cardinal, the Bishop, that kind of energy from your church. It could represent gurus, whatever, you know, the leader of your church is. And if you're more on the spiritual side and you go inward to meditate and pray to source energy, that would be for you not needing an intermediary to speak with source energy, with God. And then we have that being brought down to the physical, to actually implementing this justice. And so this can represent that energy of like Supreme Court order, you know, the laws, the legalities of the land, that kind of energy. He's bringing in, his hand here is in the form of a blessing. So this is a blessing coming in for you. And so for law and order here, we already have in the, you know, like in the third dimensional, we have the Hierophant now representing that there's something that the legal system needs to deal with here. This is talking about, sometimes this Chariot card can also represent the police coming in. Because of the black and white cars, they called them the black and whites. We also have, you know, this missing money. We have a tower that's hit. We have justice wanting to come in. We have a lot of gossip and talk about it. We have judgment coming in. And yeah, so there's quite a few cards here talking about this, and energy here can sometimes represent a private detective or an investigation going on. It can represent the energy of like, you know, investigations by the FBI, the CIA, that kind of energy, hidden cameras, God knows what. It can be spying, all sorts of energy like that. But it's to seek the truth, basically, or to seek the information if it's not to seek truth. It doesn't, when I, you know, test it, it just doesn't feel like it has to be truth. It could just be to test the information. So this is Ace of Cups here. And so the Ace of Cups is about love. And this is representing a divine partner, so romantic love. And the peace is, the dove is representing having peace in this relationship. It's a gift from the divine and overflowing, like the energy just keeps flowing. And what it's saying, basing this is a blessing for you. And perhaps this, what happened here could be a blessing in disguise because, you know, out of the mud is how the water lilies grow, and they're very beautiful. And, you know, they grow from the mud in the water, and then from the mud comes all this beautiful energy. And then we have the Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords is representing someone who feels like they're in a mental prison. And this energy, you know, this can be, you know, of course, this is about your thoughts and mental intelligence and how much you're able to discipline your mind. And I feel like this person is wrapped up, which can often mean that they feel duty bound, that there's something that they could just walk away, but they don't feel it's right to, because they feel like they have an obligation to someone or something, and it's keeping them where they are, but they're not wanting to see it, and they're not enjoying the position they're in. There's been a lot of tears cried here, I feel. And I think at one point there was way more water here, but now it's drying up, because these Seven Swords behind her are now behind her. And this could represent gossip and slander and that kind of energy being spoken behind your back. Because, you know, of course, we express our thoughts with words. And it also, and so it could represent, I feel like, the tears that she's cried. And so now they're drying up, and the right foot is forward, just like the Justice. It's very similar. And like the King. So this is like they all have the right foot forward, ready to take action, and the left foot here is in a puddle, but the puddle is very shallow. And so it's not saying that your emotions are shallow, but there's less of them. And so there's only one sword left here that's kind of in front. And I feel, okay, now she's decided, okay, I'm going to move forward, and this is, I just need to figure out exactly how I'm going to do it. And we have, oh, look, this is a card of commitment, marriage, that kind of energy, partnerships. So if it's a cup, if I feel like this is when the King of Cups offers his cup of love. Now you may be the King of Cups, or you may be the interest that the King of Cups has is in you, or the King of Cups is interested in you and wants to offer you a cup of love. And so if it's not about romantic love, it could be like a job position or a career or something to do with partnership. But this is the marriage card for tarot. So I feel that this cup is about love, but it could also involve business and other, whatever else it involves, because this card here can also just represent a commitment with partnerships, etc. So this is talking about the beginning of fulfillment. And so going through this energy, and like a way that I would describe it is, you have the down payment for the castle, but you still have to make the mortgage payments. The question was asked and the answer was yes, but now you're working on the wedding, and once that's over, you need to work on the relationship, because it requires for that to be fulfilling. But you're well on your way and doing really well if you are at this position. And then we have the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords is sitting on this tower here, on this energy. Now, because we have two kings here, and we have a queen here, this energy, the King of Cups might be offering this cup of love to the Queen of Wands. And I don't know if the King of Pentacles, sometimes when the kings come together like this, it could mean that they are partners in something, or they have politics in common, or they have some sort of business involvements together, or something like that. I feel like that's what it's about. And that now you could be this king energy. This could also represent one person that has both these qualities. But I feel like the cup of love is about this queen here, because that's the only real matching energy we have for the kings. So we'll see, but I feel like that's basically where this is headed. And so this is talking about someone who doesn't have an open mind. Right now, we just had the new moon on the 18th, and we have the equinox, which means that the days and nights are almost of equal length here. And this energy is talking about that evenness. And so, but this person right now with this new moon in Pisces that we just had, we're just ending, that energy is easing off a little bit now. But when the new moon is in Pisces, it really inspires using your intuition in a really strong way, and moving forward with, making sure you use your intuition and your logic together rather than just one or the other. Because this person is saying, oh, it's either this way or that way. They don't have an open mind as to, well, if you, the body language shows it's exhausting them. They've got both their feet are pointing outward, which represents losing energy. And the upper body is very closed, and it's protecting the heart. Arms crossed over the heart, and the right arm is holding the left arm back. So the right arm represents your logical mind, and your left arm represents your intuition. And so this is like only wanting to use the logic. It's either this way or that way. You need to put the two of them together and use your third eye to be able to see the problem and come to, use your logic to ask the question, and then get, you could get 20 answers from logic, and that can be the problem. Sometimes you don't know which is the right answer. So then what you need to do is use your intuition for the right answer, and then you can apply that logically. So it's a combination of them both, gives you creative solutions. There's never just two ways to do anything. There's always, there's so many ways that we can shift out of energy, but we can't always see it, is the problem. So an open mind right now, in the energy we're in astrologically, is your best friend. It's a really good time to have an open mind. An open mind is like a parachute. It could save your life. So we have the Page of Wands coming in. The pages would be like a younger version of the knights. They would start working for the court when they are around 7 to 14. and they would, learn the ropes of being in, like doing small errands, but their main task was to deliver communication within the palace. And so they, if they were really good at it, they could maybe be in a position, if they could afford a horse at 21, to be considered for knighthood. And then they would be, traveling far and wide and defending the castle and all that energy. So the Page of Wands represents a masculine energy that's really enthusiastic and really, wants to get on with life. The pyramids in the back here represent wanting to go on adventures and wanting to see things that are different, like have knowledge come in, and loving just learning about things and having new experiences. He's got a feather in his cap, and he's very passionate. He's with it, and as you can see, he really admires his wand, and he is very focused on it. So you have to sometimes take his information with a grain of salt, because quite often he is thinking with his little head rather than his big head. Here, and then we have the Hangman here. So the Hangman is also going inward here and wanting to get knowledge. And he's hanging from the tree of knowledge, and he's hanging upside down because he wants to gain a new perspective of the situation. So if you're upside down, you're going to get a totally different view than if you're standing. And when his aura gets really bright, it means that now I have the information I need, and he comes down from the tree and he implements it. And then we have the moon energy coming in. So the moon is talking about, we just had that new moon, and we've had a lot of energy coming in with the moon because of, like we have the sun, then full moon, and the new moon all represented here. And we just had 2 eclipses, and eclipse energy, like within a 2-week period. And that eclipse energy sits with us for about 6 months. And it tends to bring in some very profound change. And it's sort of like a gradual energy that you don't notice that much. But when you look back 6 months later, you go, whoa, my life sure changed a lot. And so if you want to know more about this energy, about the eclipses, I do have a playlist, New Moon, Full Moon. You can go to that if you, and for each of the horoscope signs, I did a reading talking about that energy. And it's really helpful because it explains a lot of what's going on, but it's like a reading all of its own, because sometimes the astrological influences are not that crucial, or they're not having such a significant effect as how the last month has been. And you can see that what's happening in the news, like there's a lot of big planets that have moved, and a lot of them have moved into the sign of Aries, and the Aries is the infant of the zodiac. So there's a lot of new energy coming in. So you got to be, and we just had a Mercury in retrograde. So communication is just now, Mercury comes out of retrograde on the 20th. So this energy there's been a lot happening behind the scenes. Neptune, Saturn moved in together into the sign of Aries, towards the beginning of the month. And those are very deep planets. And so, if you want, look that up. It might give you some more insight into your what's going on with you. But basically, the moon represents a time when you are more intuitive, and this lobster is climbing out of the emotional waters, and he wants to stay on his path. But he has to have the courage to be vulnerable and somehow pass between this dog and this wolf, and they're both sitting there howling at the moon, and he's like, oh, I got to make sure they don't see me, And so it's about wanting to stay in between these 2 pillars and stay on that path and not get distracted. We have this energy coming in here. So I feel this energy may have already come in, and people are talking about it or something, but it's not 100% the truth or 100% all the information. It's kind of like the files that we're seeing. At first, you read it, okay, you can look it up. Okay, there's this and that in the files, and someone brings something up. And then everybody on TikTok goes nuts, and there's all these detectives out there, and they're like, a hound on the trail. They're not a bloodhound on the trail. They're not going to put this, like, at first it looked like the people at the top were going to say, well, let's just sweep this under the rug. Let's move on to the next thing like we usually do in the news. But that's not happening. And because of that, because the people here are insisting, we want justice. We want to know what the heck was going on here. Like, this is not something to sweep under the rug. And so every day it seems like there's something else happening. But we have to remember that a lot of the names coming up in those files, that it doesn't mean that they've done something illegal. Their name just showed up in an email somewhere. So that it's something that you have to be really careful with, because it doesn't necessarily mean someone's guilty. And it can be, you don't want to damage people's reputation by saying things about them and then finding out, oh, that was AI. Yeah, well, now you've already like put it out there about this person, and then they have to somehow prove that so be very careful with that. It's saying like that at this time, we have to be very discerning about the information and use our intuition. And we also have to stay on it, because the victims of the crimes there, they need justice. The thing is, that's weird though, is what we thought these people would be arrested for, or, and because has been some arrests, is not what they're getting arrested for. They're getting arrested for misappropriation of funds and money most of the time. So it's kind of like, wow, but that says it's a strong statement about our society. But having said that, justice is coming in, and the more people that are being investigated, the more information that comes out, the more people that are being investigated. So it's a wild scene out there, and we have the Iran war. We have a lot going on on this planet right now. And so, and a lot of that started shifting right when these eclipses happened in these planets, these large planets that don't move, like they take a long time to move, and they're all moving into Aries, right? Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is a more aggressive planet than a lot of planets. So that's kind of the energy we're in. So there's a lot of illusions. We have to be really, use our intuition as well as our logic to make sure we understand what's going on. And when we know what we know, then we can stand on our conviction. And so this is saying this person knows what they know, and they're standing on it, and they have gone to higher ground to protect their position. Now this can represent the energy of, there's a boot on one foot and a shoe on the other. This guy could have just been in a hurry because he had to go defend his position and he put the wrong shoes on. Or it could represent being in between these two worlds of, the real and the illusions. And also this energy, because I was pointing out some of the cards here that are about justice that the Hierophant might be bringing down in the physical. Now we also have, this can represent not just a mental prison, but it could actually represent prison. And this energy can represent not just knowing what you know, but conviction beyond a doubt can represent actual, a prison sentence, that kind of conviction. And then we have the energy of the strength, so the courage to face all of this. And so this young woman is reaching into this lion's mouth, and I mean, that's a dangerous thing to do. It's a mature male lion, and he's got his tail tucked under. He's being really he's being really submissive to this energy, and it's because he can tell she has no fear. She's doing this to prove to herself, I can face my fears. And she wants to face her fears, and quite often from her childhood, because she wants to let go of what she's carrying that no longer is going to suit her, and that, she wants this infinite potential, and she wants to reach that. And if she's afraid, it's going to stop her from being able to get there. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles coming in. So the Knight of Pentacles, look at the difference in this energy to this energy. It's very different energy. This is not the energy you want to be in right now. This is in the fire horse energy. These are the two extremes. This is a fool rushing in, and this is someone who is frickin' taking forever to get the information there. this is someone who, this is the slowest moving knight in the deck. Like he's literally at a standstill looking for, you know, oh, I wonder which way I should go now. But the thing is when he brings in the information, it usually is a genuine offer, and you can, you know, it's not AI, it's like true information because he's really looked into it. So, you know, it's good, but sometimes by the time he gets there, the information, you don't need it anymore. It's too late. So, you know, it's like these are like the slowest horse on earth, and this is like someone who's, you know, running like a spooked horse that doesn't, you know, that is dangerous, right? So it's a two different extremes. Can we get somewhere in the middle here? And so then this is the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups can represent the maternal line, and she's also like, she's a container of love. Her cup is like, that's representing love. And of course her cup, like she's considered the most loving of all the queens in the minor arcana. This is the only cup that has a lid on it, and that's saying that she is a container for unconditional love. And she, you know, would be more someone who's in a more traditional relationship, you know, or a marriage, that kind of thing. She loves her family and the community, and she's one of those people that, you know, you can really count on. And she will look after the kids in the neighborhood and that kind of, you know, and the animals, and she's just a caring individual. Sometimes this energy can also represent the energy of the maternal bloodline. I don't feel that this is a couple, because this king is bringing in a cup of love way down here and she's up here. But I feel like this could represent your maternal line in some sense. This card in particular sometimes can actually represent DNA, like the mitochondria of the cell. The mitochondria of the cell is on the feminine side, on the mother side. So this is talking about markers that come down from mother to daughter. And so it's not mother to son, so it's passed down from mother to daughter, and then that daughter to her daughter. And so it's a particular phenomena in the DNA. And then we have this energy here of, you know, this is representing, the 10 of Wands represents a lot of energy. So this is actions that have been planted, so seeds that have been sown, your actions in other people's actions, and you're carrying the load here. And so this can represent, you know, some of this could be heavy with the fruit of your labor, and you're bringing in the harvest. His home is just right here, but he can't see how close he is because he's so busy carrying all of this weight. And you can tell he's having a challenge, and he's like, oh, I don't know if I can make it. And this is saying, stay focused. You're almost there. Don't quit now. Like, you're so close to home, you just can't see it. And so sometimes, you know, the saying, you can't see the forest due to the trees. It's because you get too caught up in the details and you can't see the big picture anymore. So this card, though, can represent saying that you are carrying other people's burdens and you need to put other people's burdens down. It's too heavy a load for you. And also that there might be better ways of doing what you're doing to make it easier on yourself. And we have being left out in the cold. So the Five of Pentacles, this energy here, and when it's on the illusion, it's on the, okay, and what's the Magician pointing at here? So the Magician is pointing at this reality check coming in from the marriage to the knowing something now about this commitment. Something you know that you know, and waiting for this information to come in for the Pentacles. So this is interesting because it's talking about carrying the burdens of other people. And maybe when this information comes in, then this card can represent, it can represent tactics from other people, putting people in this position where they are isolated from society. But sometimes this can also represent an illusion of feeling like you're isolated, and there's actually or self-isolating because of some sort of energy that's been coming in, and you're waiting to find out before you take one more move what you need to put down and what you need to hold on to. It's coming in a little bit different, this energy. So we'll keep going here and see here. We have, that's when the cup of love comes in, when this information comes in. So now we have the knight delivering the cup of love from the king. And okay, so it might be to someone that he was waiting to get this information coming in so that he would know for sure that that maybe the gossip or whatever that he's been hearing, because these cards quite often go together. These people may have gone out of their way to ruin someone's reputation, and he was checking the information out to see is what they're saying actually true or not. And the information is coming in. Like this actually could be information that's just gossip. You know, like I said, like on the internet, like a lot of times people are like, oh, you know, here someone did this and that, and then you find out, oh, it was just AI. But hey, the damage is already done, right? And so this, I feel it's that kind of energy. And now that the information has come in, and it's some sort of information about where these pentacles going missing. And you know, it could be like, because we're talking generational wealth here, like this is a lot of money. So it's some sort of inheritance or trust or something went wrong, right? And so well, there's something here. But if this is your reading, you would kind of have an idea maybe. And if not, because here, this isolation feels like it's because of this missing money kind of energy. So we'll keep going here and just see here. Yeah, we have, yeah, it's about making money. So this is this is about the 3 levels of making money. So at the bottom, we have a strong foundation here. But if it was this kind of money, it should be way more money than this by now. And this is representing a bunch of money gone missing. So this could be tactics that were used to put you out in the cold so that you wouldn't be able to make the money that you should have coming in, come in. And this is talking about like the 3 levels of making money. So this is a strong foundation. And do you see here how he's got his back to the city and she's got her back to these swords? I feel like this is like all the thoughts, all the energy that has been directed her way here. And you notice like even here, like some of this could be like really good, like it could be heavy with the fruit of your labors. This could be like a really, really good harvest. But because you're having to go it alone and you're isolated, it's making it really hard to bring it in. And so this is talking about having the back to the city where you're from, basically, and wanting to expand your horizons and move forward. And this can talk about being sold short, playing small and not being able to risk what you need to risk to step into the next opportunity, because you only got this 1 pentacle and you should have had way more after all the effort that you put into your work. And it's because, and I feel this information is about what happened to this money. And it could have had a lot of tactics behind it. There could be a lot of people involved. And it could also be that it's caused you a lot of burdens, and you don't want to put those burdens down because you're concerned, because it's people that you love, people from your inner circle, and you're like, they would never do that and they're going to get blamed for this. But maybe they would do that. And that's maybe what you need to, maybe that's what this information is. So this is talking about being able to go for your heart's desires and your crowning glory. And sometimes that means that you have to leave your comfort zone and turn your back to the people that maybe you grew up with or that are in your inner circle, and recognize, no, they were involved in this energy. And so I feel that's the energy that's coming in, because now the king is offering this cup of love. And the information I feel coming in is about where this missing money went. Like why this isn't here. So from the bottom to the top and back down again, we have the energy of, the King of Pentacles representing a lot of money and a lot of lifestyle, basically. Hierophant is coming in with a blessing and with to bring justice in on some level. And there's also a true love coming in that's going to provide peaceful energy. We have the strength coming in, the courage to face what's going on, and then waiting and waiting for the information to come in, and it finally does. And that's when the King of Cups makes his move. And he offers his cup of love, providing a strong foundation for it. The only other female here really is the Queen of Wands here. So it could be that energy. And then we have this energy of putting, not being left out in the cold anymore now, because you have someone who is going to empower you. He has found out, he's discovered what happened, and he also, he maybe even hired a private investigator to find out, is this Queen of Wands, is this gossip about her true, or is this just gossip? And then this energy here could be putting down burdens and then sorting through these so that you can really get to, deciding which burdens you're going to put down, and now that you have the true information, and then sorting through them so that you can actually harvest or you can go through your harvest and start implementing it to earn this money back. And this is talking about having that balance again. And so having the true knowledge and having looked at it from all perspectives, having enthusiasm again to move forward with some passion in your life. And the ancestors are happy because they feel that this judgment finally has come through. And these people were just basically celebrating too soon. They thought that they had this in the bag, but it's not in the bag. There's something happened here with this information. So I'm going to clarify this for those of you who want it clarified. For you who, this is good, I'm happy with this, I don't want to jinx it. I feel that this could be a better scenario as yet. So I want to find out what else is going to go on. Like, what else can we learn about this? So I'm clarifying with my Oracle Tales from the Vector. And this is something I started. Okay, so these are the cards right here that want to come out. So I'm going to grab these. The very first one is transition. So this information is causing a major transition. So one cycle ending in a new one. The energy here with my Oracle is Tales from the Vector. It's from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. I started in 2007, and in 2020 I completed it. And so now I am bringing it out. And I'm just working with the cards so that I can write up the book that goes with it. The numbers on these cards represent the numbers of the paintings in the gallery of my website, talesfromthevector.com, and I will put them in the order that they appear here, and then you can, so you know which paintings to look up if you're interested in looking them up. So this is talking about, look at this, the expectations here of, it's interesting, it's on this King of Pentacles. That he, maybe the King of Pentacles was involved in this money going missing. So that could be, sometimes, people that are in that industry would know how to do it. So, we're going to take it with a grain of salt for now. And then we have the manifestor coming in. So this is talking about the sacral chakra energy, being able to manifest at a high level. And this is when the chariot comes in. So this is getting back on your divine path. So I feel that the energy, this may be your energy here. And you're just kind of looking for, because this is where the tower is. And look at the magician is pointing to, as soon as this information comes in here, the situation from this tower changes. As above, so below, right here. We have the magician, the marriage, the offer of marriage, basically knowing what you know. The king knows what he knows now, so he's willing to make this offer of love. It took frickin' forever for this knight to show up, though. But that's how, hey, he had to go through all sorts of trials and tribulations to get there. And then, yes, this is confirming the magician's on this too. And this is saying that this is an energetic upgrade, because this money is going to be found and it will be returned to you, and I'm getting 100-fold. So this is talking about destruction. This is talking about some people want what you have, and they're willing to destroy whatever they have to have it. And that's what we're seeing in the news at the top right now, and it's so sad. I watched it, and I can't watch this today. I might check in after I do this reading, but I was seeing that that there's some major sacred temples that are being damaged from the war, as well as all the people, and it's just really hard to watch. It's like such a horrible energy, really. And then we have the Hermit. So the Hermit is talking about the safe travels. So this is talking about going inward and being willing to go into the dark and look at the ugly, the ugly within yourself and the ugly within others, and be able to handle the dark and not be afraid of it, and so that you can have a better perspective, to be able to see, like, if you're sugarcoating everything, then it makes it hard to really get to the truth. And if you're too cynical, it makes it hard to open your heart back up after being in an energy where you've been in this kind of energy where you're carrying all these burdens, and now you're isolated and you're exhausted, and you're like, what the heck happened? I had so much energy and I was so happy, and now this has happened. So this is talking about the justice coming in to right the wrongs and to put things back in place, because it's important that you have something that you came here to do on the planet, like everybody. And if you don't have what you need to do it, God's going to make sure that you do have what you need, and justice will come through, so you get that. We do have the Virgo energy, so communication. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and it's about communication. The thing also is that, Mercury has been retrograde, and it just moved direct. And then we have the solstice, and we just had the new moon. And now also on the 23rd, Mercury, the planet Mercury, is moving into the same energy with the North Star. And I think it's not for a long period of time, like it might be 24 or 48 hours. So with the North Star energy represents your path of life, your destined path. And sitting there with Mercury now newly going direct could be like a really beneficial time to go, to meditate and go inward and really quiet your mind and see what comes up. It's with that Pisces moon, it stirred up a lot of intuition, and dreams in particular could be really vivid. When the signs come in, horoscope signs in my readings, I'm not looking at this as an individual. I'm looking at this as like the sign, like what is the state of being of Virgo itself. And each sign has its strengths and weaknesses, and we all have a little bit of every sign in us, maybe not every sign, but close. And so this energy, we can learn from each of these signs. In your own case, it might be, yes, a Virgo was there, and that's, and you trust your intuition on that. You would know. But I just want you to understand it's not my intention. I'm not saying, so I don't want there to be confusion there. Scorpio's coming in as well. And this is the energy. Scorpio's good at uniting. And it's either elevate people or conquer them. And you have to be careful with Scorpio, because remember, they are a scorpion and Scorpios sting. And so Scorpio can have a very charming tongue. And on the other side, it can be very cutting. And then we have the Hierophant energy, which is about the traditional structure, right on the Hierophant, basically. But it's saying that I feel like it's on either side of this cup of love. And so I feel like it's saying that the information that came in was about these missing pentacles. And perhaps the Queen of Wands energy was being blamed for having this money having gone missing. Or the King of Cups has taken it somehow, or not the King of Cups, the King of Pentacles has absconded. That's the word that's coming up, abscond. Okay, so abscond means stealing, but I'm going to look it up. What does abscond, what's abscond specifically compared to stealing. The word stealing is one word. Abscond is a fancy way of saying something about stealing. But I'll put that in. I'll look it up, and when I'll put it in, I'll post it in the community posts what that is, because I feel like, yeah, it's kind of nice. Abscond is not a word I normally use, so lack of awareness here is talking about, never underestimate the power of willful ignorance. So this energy is talking about sometimes lack of awareness comes from an energy of just not really wanting to see something. It's like you don't want to believe that the people around you maybe were part of the reason why you were isolated here. Here you were going to them and saying, oh, I feel so bad, and this is going on and that. And they're saying, oh, that's too bad. And in the background, they're the ones that are collaborating to cause it. It's all this energy behind the back energy. So then we also have the need to be right, which is also a karmic space that we can all fall into very easily. If you need to be right all the time, then how are you ever going to learn from your mistakes? A lot of people feel really ashamed if they're not right all the time. I have to be right. But the thing is if you're right all the time, it means you're not pushing yourself to be the best version of yourself, because you're going to make mistakes when you're doing new things. Like if you're not making mistakes, you're not doing new shift. And so this is about drama. Life's a slice, hold the drama. Yeah, especially when it comes to matters of love and friendships and partnerships. The last thing you need is drama in those areas of your life. It can cause a lot of problems. And then we have the All-Star. So the All-Star is talking about really right now is a really, really good time. And I feel like it's because that energy of the 23rd is coming in. I might check into that a little bit more too to see for the next daily reading when specifically or for how long are Mercury and the North Node together. Because, and maybe where are they together? Who else are they with? That kind of energy. If I have a chance to look it up, I will. I do hope you've enjoyed this reading. Please give it a like and a comment if you have. It really helps me build my channel. I appreciate it a lot. Also, consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy of the channel. I would be honored if you did so, and I will have another reading for you tomorrow. Bye for now.